It turns out that what many people assume about victims of abuse, especially in cases involving violence and betrayal, is completely backwards. Survivors often express both deep love and intense hatred toward their abusers, sometimes at the same time.
Really? That sounds so contradictory. How can someone feel love and hate for the same person all at once?
Yeah, it's a paradox that's actually very common in abusive relationships. Take Lisa Michelle Lambert, for example. In her letters, she wrote things like, "I hate you more than anyone on earth, but I love you more than anyone on earth too." It's heartbreaking, but also very telling.
Wow, so what's going on there? Why do survivors feel this way?
It's part of what experts call a trauma bond. Basically, survivors cling to the hope that their abuser will change. They hold on to memories of the good times and the love they once felt, even while suffering cruelty. This mix of hope and pain creates a confusing emotional cycle.
That makes sense. So it's not just about being stuck physically, but emotionally too.
Exactly. And that emotional conflict can trap survivors in cycles of abuse. Lisa's letters show her saying things like, "This is the last time I'm writing you," or "one last chance." But then she keeps engaging. It's that painful back and forth many survivors experience.
It's like they're caught between wanting to leave and wanting to believe things will get better.
Right. And that brings us to another complex part of Lisa's story, the sexual relationship she had with her abuser. She wrote a sexually explicit poem, but it wasn't an expression of desire. Instead, it was what experts call a script she had to perform to satisfy her abuser's sadistic needs.
A script? Like a role she was forced to play?
Exactly. The poem lacked any tenderness or consent. It described pain and humiliation. The abuser had what's called a paraphilia, a psychological condition where he derived pleasure from inflicting pain. So Lisa was basically acting out a forced role to survive.
That's so disturbing, and I imagine outsiders might misunderstand that as something consensual or even pleasurable.
Yes, that's a common misconception. But for survivors, these scripts are survival mechanisms. They do what they have to do to avoid worse harm.
It's heartbreaking to think about. What about how Lisa coped with all this?
Well, after she was isolated in prison, her letters increasingly referenced religion and God. Religion became a source of hope and a way to process her trauma, especially since she had no counseling or outside support.
So faith was a kind of lifeline for her?
Exactly. It helped her start to separate herself mentally from her abuser, recognizing his bad side and hoping for his change through faith. It's a common coping mechanism for survivors who feel alone.
That's powerful. But recovery from abuse isn't straightforward, is it?
Not at all. Lisa's letters show a slow, non-linear process. She moves forward and backward emotionally, sometimes feeling stronger, sometimes slipping back into idealizing her abuser. Experts say survivors often say "one last chance" multiple times, holding on to hope even when evidence suggests otherwise.
So it can take years for someone to rebuild their self-esteem and fully break free.
Yes, years. And Lisa's case was even more complicated because of additional trauma, like the gang rape she suffered, which slowed her healing.
That's a lot for anyone to handle. Were there other ways she protected herself psychologically?
Definitely. Lisa described feeling like her body was there but her mind left during traumatic events. This is called dissociation, a natural response where the mind checks out to protect itself from unbearable pain.
Like an out-of-body experience?
Exactly, and she also wore heavy makeup, which she described as a mask hiding her true self. It was a survival tool to present a controlled face to the world. Experts see giving up such masks as a sign of psychological progress.
That's such a vivid image, a mask as a costume for survival.
Yeah, it really helps us understand the layers survivors carry. But all this complexity makes it really hard in court, too. Lisa gave multiple versions of events over time, sometimes contradicting herself. That's common in trauma survivors but complicates legal assessments.
So the legal system struggles to balance skepticism with empathy.
Exactly. Survivors' behaviors don't always fit simple narratives, and understanding the emotional and psychological struggles behind their words is crucial for justice and support.
It really changes how we see survivors, not as inconsistent or unreliable, but as people navigating unimaginable pain.
Yes, Lisa's story shows us that love and hate can coexist, recovery is a winding road, and truth is often layered beneath fear and hope.
That's a powerful takeaway. It reminds us to look beyond surface judgments and appreciate the courage it takes to survive and heal.
Absolutely. And hopefully, understanding these complexities helps us support survivors better and seek justice more fairly.
Definitely. It's a tough journey, but knowing the emotional truth behind it makes all the difference.